Five, four, three, two, one. Hey everyone, we're live here with Master Malando from Atlanta. And this video, we're going to talk about the different levels of Chizoa takedown, scissor takedown, and how you can start from beginner and get into a really high level where it's applicable and maybe to try it person. In the last live session, we've talked about how so those two apps are interrelated. So if you didn't get to one, I really recommend you watch it before this one, after this one, sorry. So, Master, thank you for being here. I'm really excited for this connection. We came up. What happened actually is that I created a video, Master Malando, where he shows how you can apply techniques into street fighting. Complicated subject. If you have the video which I'm talking about, it's this one where you can see I made him as large as possible in front of his counter, which is Kevin Lee, that he also has channel. I saw that today he reached how many?
Like
100,000.
Yeah, subscribers.
Yeah, that I was super happy to see that they created this. And Kevin Lee, which he comes from a totally different martial art, helps other martial artists to spread. More people need to know about capoeira. This is we both have different approaches, and I think both of us have over 20 years of experience in our capoeira, and I'm sure value from today. So I have some questions from the audience. I have some questions I wanted to make myself, and I wanted to shout out some of the newest newcomers for the takedown course. I wrote them down. We have Kai, we have Jabor, we have Jonathan, Thiago, Cota, Barbosa. Thank you all. Of course, this live session is for you. If you're just joining us, write down in the comments and let us know where in the world where you're located. I'm in Israel right now. It's 9 o'clock in the evening, and Miss located in Atlanta. It's 2 p.m. over there, and I would is how do you actually balance life and training? It's like people talk about a lot about work-life balance, but we also have to think about our training life.
Yeah, it's very important because we do this art form that we love, and we want to continue doing it as best we can. And I think that it's if we can understand all aspects of um, movement culture, then that's going to help us find balance. Because, for example, maybe we don't have the opportunity to train two by two or go to a class or go to a halda, but there's opportunities for us to train on our own. For example, you have your online courses, and this really good information. Got a chance to check out 100% of your Chizora um, sessions, and it's really good stuff. So these type of things are a little bit more available to us nowadays than way back. You know, you and I have been doing capoeira over 20 years. So I know you remember like watching a lot of the VHS tapes and things like that. So trying to balance the training is knowing how to adapt, you know, working on the music, working on the recovery as well, because we want to train hard and we want to feel like we're progressing and getting better and getting faster, getting stronger, but also um, the time that we take to self-care our bodies, you know, getting acupuncture, massages, stretching, whether it's, you know, yoga, mobility, movements, like that's also important as well. And if you feel like you're if you appreciate all those aspects, then you're going to feel accomplished whether or not you're able to train, you know, traditionally as much as you would like.
So I'm glad we touched this topic, but we actually want to provide you guys who are watching right now with the steps for. We're going to do a very first pre-requirement requirement in order to be able to perform. Let me show you. The first thing should be a side plank. Right stance, hands in between your foot. If I brought my right hand in my right leg from here, lift your leg off the position for 10 seconds. This is enable for you to be able to actually do so. So again, you go one left hand, right leg, seconds, same way you came in. Before going to shout out, lately from different Geneva, all over the world. Actually, I had some pretty uh, touching, I don't know, emotional or exciting. One of the course student told me in practicing the course content with his kid, which is 9 years old, and talking about training and life balance. You can actually put them both together. That's maybe the win. What's very touching about this is that firstly, I'm a fresh father. I've had my kid 6 months ago, and is somewhere on the autism spectrum. It's really exciting to hear that they can use capoeira in order to find another way to communicate and to connect each other. Regarding if I'll be
That's awesome.
teaching in Europe, I'll be traveling to Palma de Mallorca. If anyone is watching from there, let me know. I'm traveling for vacation. You never know. I'm getting emails from people who are wanting to come to Israel and spend some time starting opening up this. I'm really glad that we can interact. So if
That's awesome.
from here talking about Chizoa, building it up.
Yeah, I think that as I got a chance to look at your Chisora sessions, everything was really efficient as far as the progressions, and also the applications, as well. The only difference, really, the big difference that I saw Um, as far as like our methodology, when I say our methodology, I represent Capoeira Regional. My teacher is Mestre Nenel, who's the son of Mestre Bimba. Um, so there was just a small difference with kind of the progressions, even though I understand why you're doing it that way. For example, at the very beginning, you were teaching how to, squat down, bring your arms in, tuck your chin to your chest, and then kind of roll on your back. Um, and just in our classes, we just teach our capoeira break fall, right? Which is negativa, or what people call negativa regional. So if I can show for really quickly. So from here, boom, is negativa regional, okay? Or for us, it's just negativa, okay? Here, boom. So also when you're receiving the chisora, the training that we do is the first thing is to settle your base, to get closer to the floor. Then it's a little bit easier for you to twist, and then also to catch yourself, um, because by everything is situational. There's pros and cons to everything, right? But by rolling, it's you're you're not allowing any sort of resistance to the chisora that's happening. So then you are actually kind of adding to their momentum. And yes, you're not going to like hit your head, but then all that momentum is being transferred into your body as you're rolling. So you might end up doing like a no hand backward roll. Whereas also again in capoeira regional, a big thing is like not letting your butt touch the floor, even when you're executing the chisora as well, to land on your hands and feet. So that would be the only thing. But also, I think you also went over different ways to catch yourself later on in the course, in the chisora course. So we're arriving at the same destination. We're just taking two different paths.
So if a person is able to hold the the plank I've showed before, if he can do it
Yes.
even easily, what would you recommend him to train next?
They can either find a person if they have a partner, um, or like if you have a foam roller and practicing the movement on the foam roller. The reason why I say if they have a
Mm,
person, then the person who's receiving the chisora can again like settle their base, almost like a horse stance um, in martial
hmm.
arts and kung fu karate, just so that you
Yeah,
are used to settling your base and absorbing the force, and then that also forces the other person who's doing the chisora, similar to the holding, the isolation exercise. It forces them to engage their core in a different way, a little bit, a little bit more intense, because you're depending
yeah,
on
because
their forces
you're
also.
doing it actively. You're
Yes.
not only
Hmm.
holding your body, you're pushing at the same
Hmm.
time as the other person is resisting.
Yes, exactly. And then if you want
Nice.
to add some extra intensity, as you're the person who's settling their base, and then the other person is kind of holding, you can do some ab work where you kind of hit the person here, and they have to really like engage their core
Mm,
as well. That's always fun.
mm, yeah. So it was. I think it's really important you how to break when talking about takedowns. First, you should learn how to fall and how to break your fall.
Mhm.
This is actually what the first video that's on my course because we don't want anyone to get hurt while he's training. Um, I can recommend another drill, which is not very comfortable. It starts the same as we did before. From here, you try to bring your leg to the floor, and then pretty hard. If you can also do try to do the other way. From here, you can keep on rolling. Another thing that I do is I divide. I see it as there are four different types of chisoras. There's chisora de French, which I've been asked upon in the previous live video, and after we were done with the live video, I remember there was another entrance that I wanted to, that I didn't get to, so I'm gonna show it now because it's really effective. When a person kicks con paso, go down at this the same direction as ole. From here, I place between his legs, and then I catch him, which is already French. Videos, video in the video I uploaded of YouTube, you also were talking about Chisora. You were talking about
Mhm.
dropping, and from here came the Chisora. In a this works in street fight context, but in capoeira context, I really like placing my hands on the floor or hands and only then going down. Another thing
Right. Mhm.
recently, which is pretty advanced, is of going one, two. You can just simply go one, and then comes Chisori French. I'm gonna show it again from the Jinga base. Either spin in the same place and then step the back leg in between your partner's leg, or you can step over diagonally as you're dodging the kick and then come in with Chisori French.
Yeah,
What
that's
other than that? What what more than that? Like, how can you describe the higher levels of Chisora?
um, there's another variation of the Chisora di French that I can show here. Similar, similar to what you did earlier, where you're throwing a male lucha compasso, okay? And then let's say that the other person also follows your male lucha compasso, right? So here, boom. So instead of me coming up and receiving the male lord, I go here, boom. And then
Mm-hmm.
from here, bring this leg down and come back. And now the other leg is going to go, and I do my chisora against the other person. This one is kind of really tricky. Let me see if I can grab something real quick.
I want to see that again because the video wasn't really
Yeah,
smooth for me.
no problem. Cool. So this would be the person here. This is their front leg. Okay. So as I
Yeah.
go here, boom, and then I bring the leg down. Then the other leg is
Stop
going to
right
go
there.
here. And then boom, she's over.
I'll have to watch it on the replay in order for me to be able to watch it smoothly. I understood there's a Mielo and the Tresor de French at the end. um, I wanted to
But we
give an
can add it.
opportunity for what were you saying?
No, we can add it to the session. Special.
Cool. from Azul, which is also a part of the Only the Strongest podcast, a really entertaining capoeira podcast you can find on Spotify. I like to listen to them. She was
Hmm.
saying that Chizoa is her favorite takedown, but she's found the older she gets, if someone does that to her, that is big, they push her knee in horizontally before she falls back, and it hurts. Maybe you can address that. Um, is there a way to avoid this knee injury?
Yeah. Um, it really
If anyone didn't
depends.
understand what she was talking about, I'm gonna try to show it visually. She saw her knee caves in, and then it hurts this knee over here. Why it was bended out of judo contents because men dislocating their knees because they were going so crazy. They were jumping with the chizo and they were dislocating their opponent's knees.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very, very, very dangerous on the knee. Um, there's two options because again, it depends on the forward force of the person executing the chisora. If they rotate in place, then most likely that weight won't be on the person's knee. But if they have a lot of forward momentum, like they're faking a meia lua de compasso and then transforming that into a chisora de costas, then yeah, most likely you'll get a lot of pressure on the knee. So my thing is one, there's a way that there's also a movement that you covered in one of your sessions where you basically turn towards the person here and settle your base, which kind of disables the chisora, right? Um, another one, and this one takes a little bit of awareness of what the other person is going for. It's a blend of one of the counters to Vinga Chiva, where you do Banda de Costa or Bachi Costa, right? So as the person is implementing their male compasso to, or the chisora in a way of male compasso, right? To swing their leg behind you, you take your closest leg, that same leg that you're worried about, the knee, and you swing it back to stop their leg from actually coming around and hooking both legs. And then you just have to make sure you keep your other hands in front of your face because you don't want that their other leg to kind of swing up and hit you. But by going into more of this stance here, this is me being sideways, and then you applying the chisora leg behind, me going like this, and that stops the leg from coming around and wrapping both. And I just make sure I have my hands up so I don't get the second leg kicked to the face.
Let's go for another question I was asked by a close friend of mine, Professor Aposa. He asked me, it's a question for you, right? He
Okay.
asked, where does the line crosses in capoeira from a game to a violence regarding takedowns?
Mhm. I think that depends on just on the two in, people who are playing capoeira. Just like if you have a debate and an argument and, and then a fight, you know? So it depends on the energy of the two people because some movements to some people or some movements in certain schools mean different things. Like I've been at a roda where one of my students just placed a hastera in bay or a hastera, but didn't pull, but just marked the movement because the opening was there. And then the higher level capoeirista like got so upset that this person would even to place this movement on. So um, I think it depends on the two people playing, but also that escalation of the different energies, because you can have a heated game and you can have an quote unquote aggressive game, regardless if it's Angola, Regional, Contemporâneo, whatever. Um, but it's when people lose their cool and also they feel they run out of resources as well, because you can have a challenging game and people take each other down and
Mm-hmm.
they're still laughing and clapping and things like that as well. So it depends.
Yeah. Uh, thank you for that answer. I wanted to show what I consider to be. I'm trying to put myself.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Um, I consider to be an escalation of Chisor. First Chisor is this one, the classic one. The second one is the Chisor de French, as I showed before. The third one is it's from the second one to the third one. There's a pretty big gap. I mean, in technicality, and it requires much more. So this is the third one. It goes like this: you fake each other, then the person from here is going to dodge backwards. This is when you can either place your leg behind his heel, hooking his heel, or you can jump depending on the distance, right? And and you execute the tesoura as you turn. Again, and the fourth one is tesoura de French, but this time a flying tesoura de French. It goes like this: you have your partner. Usually, when my opponent kicks me a lua, he has his head down low over here. So I'm gonna feint as I'm gonna kick his face. I'm just gonna bring my foot towards this side, and he's gonna bring his face up and back and away. Now, in this moment, I have him in a perfect position to for. So it looks like this. From here, I go one and two. Once more, and then I flip over to take him down. This also works great from Merge French. You go for Merge French, and then the other person, if he tries to take you down, he just placed himself in a really bad situation for him. You can either go for Chisel de French, or you can go for a simpler takedown, Vingachiva. Both of them has been really effective for me.
Yeah.
Another question I got on YouTube from a person called Togrol. Um, I can't even imagine what language is it. Uh, okay, I would love to know. So he said, "What makes a good capoeirista? Artist. What makes a good capoeirista a good martial artist? Because not every capoeirista is drawn to that side of the art."
Mhm. Well, yeah, that, in my opinion, it depends on how you want to define martial artist, because not all martial artists do sport combat, like MMA. Not all martial artists um, focus really on the self defense. It's just how do you artistically express yourself through these movements of combat. You know, so even though you're doing movements of like Tai Chi, all of these things with your breath are still um, attack and defense movements. And I'm only saying that because here where I have my capoeira studio, my cousin also does capoeira and Tai Chi and a lot of other martial arts. So there is like an overarching kind of definition of martial artist. Now, if we're talking about self defense, then I can answer that in that realm of the definition of a martial artist. What makes a capoeirista a good martial artist is their control of themselves first, staying calm. And a lot of these are some of Mestre Bimbo's rules. It's like it's always better to have a calm head in a heated situation or a cool head in a heated situation, to play close to your partner because then you'll learn more. And I think that for me translates to having an understanding of the different ranges of combat. A lot of times, why the Gracies were so successful in UFC is because many of the people that they were quickly defeating is that were strikers who had no concept of grappling or ground games. You know, so the only time the Gracies have a difficult time is someone who, again, understands that range. So what makes a capoeirista a good martial artist is understanding all those different ranges of combat. And you can see that in different types of games. Like you see, for example, like in one of my favorite Angoleros is Mestre Jogo de Dentro. And he is very good at like kind of the close combat because he always catches people with cabeçadas. But he also does it in a way that's still um, not vicious and doesn't injure the other person to where they can't play capoeira anymore. Um, and so just understanding that, those ranges of combat, keeping a cool head, which means you have control over yourself in that situation. Um, and then also the element of malicia, like faking, going down and then hitting high, faking like you're going to go high and then going low as well. And also physical
Okay.
conditioning.
So it's really for hear this sentence in Portuguese, right? It's pé quente, cabeça.
Mm-hmm. Asking. Mm-hmm.
So, guys, if you're watching, if you're not live right now and you're watching it
Mm-hmm.
in the replay, comment down below. Replay will know who you are. I want to share with you a video I just came across of a capoeirista taking part in a fight in a fight in a ring. So I hope we can watch it well over here. Can you see this? Can you see what I'm sharing right now?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's pretty short.
Mm-hmm.
Start with a flying attack. Chapa Benção is pretty quick. This guy, and
Mm-hmm.
he's going for crazy moves. Boom! Neo de compasso knockout. This is a replay. Poof. The quality is not the best, but
Mm-hmm.
still very interesting watching capoeiristas get into the ring. He doesn't hold back. Another knockout. Looks like he had two Mel de Compasso knockouts in the same day. This video, I came across this video in Master Coyote's uh, YouTube channel. I think it's the biggest capoeira YouTube channel, so definitely
Mm-hmm.
check it out. Any observations?
No, good timing and distance. Like a lot of times, to even piggyback on more what I said about a good capoeirista and a good martial artist is like understanding your distance as well, because capoeira has a lot of kicks, but if you don't really understand the distance on where to place them and the timing, then you're just wasting your energy. So that guy, you know, definitely had the conviction behind the movements, but understood his distance so that that one part, that heel, destroys the target. It just takes once.
Yeah. I know of a setup that has been working for Mr. Baonzinho with Mel de Compasso is that he was
Mhm.
kicking twice. The first kick was in order to get his opponent backwards and imagine as if he's finished his kicking, his combo, getting in and getting hit by the second kick. So it was one to intimidate them and then pull him back, and then the second kick was the one that actually.
Yeah.
But in this video, he got them on his first try in like
First.
15 seconds.
Hmm.
Very impressive. Um, so I want to have, anything you would like to share with the audience regarding your work. We're gonna have the links to everything in the
Awesome.
description after the is done.
Hmm.
But the stage is yours.
Appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you so much, Mind Ghetto, for bringing
Oh,
me
one
into
more
your
thing. One more
platform.
thing. Sorry for cutting you. I want
No problem.
I wanted to say I'm sorry for not mentioning your name on the last video and Kevin Lee's in front of everyone right here. It was a mistake that I think it's not time not crediting the creator and the video. I felt a huge remorse because I know both of you have been working hard to build up your skills and your knowledge and your teaching methodology. So my apologies, and I'm really glad that we can bridge over these hurdles and broadcast live together today.
Awesome. And I think this is a great moment because, yeah, things happen. So I really appreciate you, mentioning and being apologetic, about that, and just acknowledging that, yeah, we all love this art. We all want to share it with other people. We all have our brands, as well. So I really do appreciate that's very big of you to, publicly, apologize, and I really do appreciate that. And that shows kind of like how we can stay connected even though we may have disagreements here and there. um, and as humans beings, especially in capoeira, there's more that we're stronger the more united we are. Because capoeira is one of those martial arts, if not the martial art, that is very, very heavily centered around community, and everyone is just as important in that community, in that tribe. So I really do appreciate that. And again, going back, I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to come on your platform, and thank you for sharing um, your Chisora course. Like, I highly recommend, people check it out. It's really efficient teaching, really efficient material for people to progress and understand each aspect in particular that we're going over. The Chizoda is like really professionally done, good quality stuff. And yeah, just I am here in Atlanta. I was in the San Francisco Bay Area for 22 years, and I moved here for two reasons. One, to work with capoeira in the community here in Atlanta, and also because the movie industry is here in Atlanta. All of the Marvel films are filmed here. A bunch of the DC things are filmed here, and I fortunately, because of my capoeira involvement, I was able to get a role and be involved in Black Panther and also Avengers: Infinity War. So now that I moved here, I am in the process of creating
Wow.
capoeira stories utilizing the culture and the history, but also some really cool, dynamic capoeira fight scenes because I want people to see the efficiency of the art form. And of course, because it's going to be in the movies and film, then of course you want to embellish it and have it, really dynamic. But there's still a way that is grounding and have it based in reality, similar to what they've done with the Yip Man and the Wing Chun series. Like, some people might not think that, oh, well, with this, how can you make it like entertaining? At least the fight scenes, because the story is very rich as well. So I want to do the same thing, but with capoeira. And the capoeira that I train and the resources that I have is shows not just the legs, but the knees, the elbows, the head, also joint locking movements and many takedowns that exist in capoeira. Not you have to train another martial art and take that thing and put it in. Granted, we all are learning from each other, but capoeira does have a lot of resources that were already in present in the art form, and I want to show that it has value as well, just as any other art form. So that's what's in the works, and have some things going to be releasing soon. So hopefully, you'll get a chance to preview it and give me your thoughts on it as we share and move forward.
Okay. Um, so another I wanted to mention that are watching on the replay. This is how the capoeira side, as I said, how is the first piece of content you'll get when you Chizola is just one of the different chapters that you can find. It's actually um, chapters. The first is takedowns, which includes Chizola and takedowns. The second straight kicks is hand attacks, how to actually use your hands in order to set up straight kicks and to set up takedowns. The early bird discount is only the next 5 days, 6 days until the end of
Get
this
on
month.
it. Take
So,
advantage.
yeah, if you want to get 30%, you should definitely do it in the next few days. Um, if you have any other questions regarding Chizoa or takedowns generally, you can send direct message to me. If you have questions towards Malandro, you can also ask me and I'll pass it on to him.
And
Um,
if I can,
anything
Magimiro, just
else before we wrap it up?
yes, of course. So if people want more information about the Capoeira Regional, because all information is beneficial information, they can go to my Instagram, which is Mr. Malandro. We also have Capoeira ATL, stands for Atlanta, or Capoeira ATL.com is the website. And then also I've been doing Birimbau courses, sharing all of the 12
Mm,
rhythms of Capoeira Regional. So people can just DM me on Instagram. And I've been, the majority of the people who have signed up for those lessons are, out of state, out of country. So it's all virtually, even though I am available for in person classes as well.
and I see all will go to and his family.
Yes. A portion of anything that I received. Even there's been some people who didn't necessarily sign up for the class, but just gave a donation just to help because the pandemic in Brazil has hit a lot of them who solely depend on capoeira as their source of income, had hit them pretty hard, and not all of them have access to technology to do online courses and things like that as we're privileged to have. So this is just a way for me to one pass on the knowledge, the correct knowledge of how to play the rhythms because we're learning how to play the rhythms directly from the source. I know every school might have like, okay, this is our version of São Bento Grande Regional, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But at least now you have this is directly from the source of Mestre Bimba and how he played it. And I also give them a little bit of history and context of each rhythm because people always ask me, okay, what game do you play to Idalina Compassada? What's the difference between Banguelinha and Banguela? Like I talk to them about that as well. So with those courses that people are purchasing, I give a portion of the proceeds to help Mestre Nel and his family because, you know, for the people who know their history, Mestre Bimbo was the one who opened the door for everyone to train capoeira when capoeira was illegal, but he died in poverty. And this is an opportunity and a way for me to make sure that Mestre Nel and other capoeira mestres as well don't go that same route.
That's beautiful. I'm really glad to hear that contributing more than other than your knowledge, you're also making an effort, not contributing only towards your students, but also towards the higher
Yeah.
your ancestors or your lineage in this case.
Yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
have your site over here. I'm gonna show it, put it up on the screen. Here's a beautiful picture of you, a younger version uh, in
With more hair.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I remember I went there. There was no any activity. I came in and went, and I I. It's hard to describe, but the feeling
Yeah.
is very. Maybe you can describe because you
Hmm.
have more.
Yeah.
You've
Well,
experienced too.
for me, because I was with a different capoeira school for like 11 years. I was doing contemporânea with capoeira Mandinga. So the first time that I went to the Fundação Mestre Bimba, um, and went had a roda, it was like very very soulful. Like even the people who just were there, the civilians just sitting on the bench, just watching the Oda, would be like rocking from side to side. Like the energy was like really cool. And the way that they were playing was just different from the stereotype of what I was told that was Regional, which is like Regional is, you know, always upright and very aggressive and very fast. And that wasn't the case. So it was like, wow, it was basically a new experience, you know, after being in capoeira for like 10 something years. And it was great. It was a great experience.
And I'm really happy to see that you're conservating, if that's the right word. You're
Hmm.
starting capoeira's tradition
Yeah.
from Brazil to US in trying to keep it in a pure form and that and appreciated. So thank you for doing that. If you guys want out right, it's capoeira.
Yes.
Any value, and I'm sure you had if you've been watching until now. Consider subscribe and
Share.
in the next share.
Awesome.